Hey guys, we got some big matchups. Let's get to them. We have 3 divisional showdowns, and then we have a big Sunday night football game. So the first game we're going to start off with involves 2 teams in the AFC East. We have the Buffalo Bills taking on the New England Patriots. I have to credit the Buffalo coaching staff and front office. Ownership, their general manager, and their head coach that combination is the most underrated combination in the NFL. Sean McDermott has done a phenomenal job with that defense. Year in, year out, they have drafted players on the defensive side of the ball, and now they finally have a top 5 defense. They can get to the quarterback. They have a young, athletic, smart linebackers, and they have a lockdown corner in Tre'Davious White. They are loaded. This past draft, they snagged Ed Oliver, which was an absolute steal. The year before, they drafted Josh Allen, and they drafted Tremaine Edmonds. They had some phenomenal drafts. I have to give them credit for that. And Buffalo's coaching staff has put Josh Allen in phenomenal situations. They even have running backs like Devin Singletary and Frank Gore blocking for Josh Allen because they understand Josh Allen isn't necessarily the most accurate quarterback, but give them credit. Before the draft, I wasn't a huge fan of Allen. I said, this guy's accuracy is shaky. I understand he has a big arm, but I don't think there's a team that can really adapt to his skill set, and Buffalo has absolutely excelled. Josh Allen has impressed, and he has played very well. On the other side, we got my Patriots. Tom Brady at age 42 is still the greatest quarterback of all time, and he's the best quarterback in the game. He's just Benjamin Button. Just unbelievable. Week in, week out, New England changes their identity. They can run the football one week. They can have one receiver shine. They can have another receiver shine. They can hit you with just about everything. But this year has been pretty tough. Although the defense has played lights out. The offensive side of football has struggled in some respects. The running game that was there last year is no longer there. Sony Michel is averaging less than 30 yards a carry. That's not good enough. New England obviously has been hit with some major injuries on their offensive line. They lost their center before the year, David Andrews, due to blood clots. They lost Isaiah Wynn, their left tackle, due to a toe injury. They're pretty banged up, folks. But I still like what my offense can bring to the table because I have the GOAT, Julian Edelman. In terms of connection with Tom Brady, it's the best in the league. And I hope he can give it a go on Sunday. But if he doesn't, even without him, I still think New England wins in a low-scoring ball game. My defense has absolutely balled out. Stephon Gilmore saying, clack, clack, go to your room. He's done it to Juju Smith-Schuster, did it to Robbie Anderson, did it to Devontae Parker. He has completely shut down one side of the field. Ty Law said it. Hey, Gilmore is the best corner in the game, and I don't necessarily disagree with him. Yeah, Jalen Ramsey's in that conversation, I'll give you that. But I like my guy Stephon Gilmore. He's under the radar. He just goes about his business, does what he needs to do. Devin McCourty has had an interception in every single game. He's a top 5 safety in this league. Their linebackers are deep, considering the fact that they have Dante Hightower, they have Kyle Van Noy, and guess who they brought back, folks? Jamie Collins. And Jamie Collins is on his way to making another Pro Bowl in New England. Belichick just steals these guys. So, who do I have winning this ball game? I have my Patriots winning this ball game in a low-scoring 20-9 victory. I think the offense struggles early on, and then we see Tom Brady do Tom Brady-like things. But I am worried about this offense. They lost their fullback, James Devlin, due to injury. He's now on IR. The offensive line has struggled. Edelman is questionable. If he doesn't play, I still like what we have because Dorsett has played phenomenal. Josh Gordon on the other side has been great. So, I'm going to lean with my Patriots at Buffalo. Tom Brady has owned Buffalo. Patriots win. Next showdown we have to get to is an AFC North matchup. This could be the game of the week. We got Baker Mayfield facing off against Lamar Jackson, two young second-year quarterbacks. I know what you're thinking, folks. Oh, Baltimore's just going to win this game. They're the more talented unit. They can run the football with the best of them because not only do they have Lamar running the football, but they have Mark Ingram who came from New Orleans. Mark Ingram's a solid player. Last week, he lit up the Kansas City defense. Their offensive line, Baltimore has their front office has been phenomenal. Give them credit. Give John Harbaugh and these coaches credit for what they have. Greg Roman, this offense, what they have done with Lamar Jackson. Lamar is very similar to Josh Allen in certain respects. Both of those guys were viewed as high ceiling guys, but guys that were kind of projects coming out, where coaches really had to fix their style of play. And John Harbaugh, Greg Roman have done a phenomenal job with Lamar. Lamar has exceeded my expectations, and he is such an electric playmaker. I can't deny that. The Ravens defense last week struggled to Kansas City and to Patrick Mahomes. This week, they face a little easier test with Baker Mayfield. But folks, let me remind you, Baker Mayfield torched this Baltimore defense twice last year. He lit them up for 300 yards. In the first game of the year, Cleveland shocked everyone and beat Baltimore at home. And everyone was like, man, shake and bake Baker Mayfield is legit. After that game, there was a lull. Everyone was like, man, is Baker the guy to lead the Browns? Did the Browns overdraft Baker with the first overall pick in the draft? Baker said, hold up. We're going to move Hugh Jackson out of town. We're going to bring in Freddie Kitchens. Freddie Kitchens going to call the plays. And I'm going to dial this thing up and I'm going to cook in Freddie's kitchen. And that's what Baker did at the end of last year. Everyone hopped back on his bandwagon. Week 17, he played lights out against Baltimore and deserved to beat Baltimore in Baltimore. But unfortunately, he couldn't do it. This year, everyone has completely hopped off Cleveland's bandwagon. Before the year, everyone was on it. Oh, all this hype. Cleveland's going to the Super Bowl. Cleveland ain't going to no Super Bowl. But I believe in Baker Mayfield. I'm still on his bandwagon. I'm a huge fan of Baker. And I think the Browns win 27-26 in Baltimore. This could be the game of the week. The next showdown we have to get to is an NFC North battle. We have the Chicago Bears facing off against the Minnesota Vikings. I don't love either of these quarterbacks. Mitchell Trubisky, Kirk Cousins. What am I supposed to do with that? Kirk Cousins is the most overrated quarterback in the game. And Trubisky is the most overrated number 2 overall pick ever. Seriously, what was Chicago thinking when they took this kid? First of all, before that draft, I sat here and I was boom, 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 all on Deshaun Watson's hype train. Not only did you miss out on my guy Deshaun, but you missed out on the league MVP a year ago and Pat Mahomes. You drafted Mitchell Trubisky? Mitchell Trubisky? Seriously? Seriously? That being said, quarterbacks aside, let's dive into this matchup. I like the Bears at home in Soldier Field because they have a better defense. I think they have a slightly better coaching staff. Both of these teams are talented units. I'm not denying that. But I don't view these teams as dangerous threats to make a deep run in the playoffs because quarterback's the most important position. And both of these teams have limited quarterbacks. Say what you want. Kirk Cousins, he's the most overrated, overpaid quarterback in the history of the NFL. Find me another one. Seriously. In week 1 to start off the year, Minnesota just said, we don't trust Kirk. Let's run the football with Dalvin Cook. You know how many attempts Kirk Cousins had throwing the football? He only threw the ball 10 times. 10 times in week number 1. 10 times. That just shows you the front office does not trust him. And I expect that Chicago defense, led by the Mac Daddy himself, Khalil Mack, to rise to the occasion and get this victory. But that being said, I don't trust either of these quarterbacks, and this game could go either way. Defense is going to be a major factor in who wins. I like Chicago at home, 13-12. Now, for the final game of the week, we have the Dallas Cowboys facing off against the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to go ahead with the upset here. I'm taking the New Orleans Saints with Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater is a damn good starting quarterback in this league. Is he Drew Brees? No. But he's a solid playmaker. And we saw him last week against the Seattle defense, slicing and dicing, hitting Alvin Kamara. They had a little picket fence play to Michael Thomas on the outside. He's a solid player, folks. And everyone that wrote off New Orleans, shame on you. The Saints are still loaded. They're going to punch you in the mouth. They have a phenomenal coach in Sean Payton. I love what this team has done. Last week, they dominated. They physically beat Seattle, and it showed defensively, offensively, whole shebang. On the other side, Dak Prescott has been absolutely phenomenal for the Dallas Cowboys. I can't deny that. Ezekiel Elliott has been eating all season long. But folks, Dallas hasn't played anyone, and they're going up against a legit New Orleans defense in New Orleans without Michael Gallup, who torched the New Orleans secondary on Thursday Night Football. Amari Cooper also has some lingering ankle issue. That could be a bigger deal than what everyone's saying. I'm going to go with New Orleans in a tight, very close, low-scoring ball game, 16-13. New Orleans wins on Sunday night. They shock everyone, and they win at Mercedes-Benz Superdome. I have New Orleans at home. That being said, I have my Patriots beating the Bills. I have the Cleveland Browns shocking everyone, going into Baltimore and beating a good Ravens team. I have Chicago with the Mac Daddy himself beating Kirk Cousins in Minnesota in Soldier Field. And I have Teddy Bridgewater and the Saints beating the Dallas Cowboys, led by Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe.